welcome back to another episode of the Elevated Chat Room. Elevate your mind, elevate your life. Look, man, we got another show for you guys. It's your host, Lonzo Jones, my co-host, Dwayne Malone. He was behind the scenes for this episode, doing what he do best. Now, I got a special guy with us tonight. Let me tell you what the topic is before I actually introduce him. Duty, honor, recruitment. The story of Sergeant Ward. He is a sergeant first class in the military. Anthony Ward. Mr. Ward, or Sergeant Ward. You kind of tell them a little bit more about yourself. Kind of give them, a brief little introduction.
Okay. Like you said, I'm Sergeant Ward, Anthony Ward. We can go by that. I was born in Colorado. My dad was military for a little while, active duty. Raised in South Georgia, though. I'm married. Going on now a decade. I have 3 little kids, 1 son, 2 daughters. I've been in the military going on 15 years in March. Military has been good to me, and right now I'm on special duty as an Army recruiter to kind of share my experiences and give the same opportunity I had to the next generation.
That's what's up. So you said you're an Army recruiter.
Yes.
So obviously that's the branch you served in was Army.
Yes.
Well, first before we go any further, man, appreciate you, bro.
Thank you.
I don't think we understand because a lot of us are not military. We don't understand the sacrifice and everything that goes on behind the scenes. So I've got a lot of family members. I heard quite a few stories about military life. So I got a cousin now. She's about to be stationed over in Japan.
Okay.
She's in the Navy. But anyways, like I said, bro, appreciate you, man. We want to give a special shout out to all the veterans out there. Thank you guys for your service and ladies for your service. Now, you said you've been married for almost a decade?
Almost. Well, we just hit a decade, so over a decade.
Okay.
Over a decade. So
with married life and military, how does that differ from like just a normal marriage?
So mine's a little different. So I actually met my wife in the military.
Okay.
When I was stationed at Fort Benning, Georgia, now considered Fort Moore. We met there through a mutual friend, and she was also active duty at the time. So it's a little different. Now she separated. She did her time, and now she's done. But I would say for just a regular spouse who has a spouse that wants to join, just be ready and open-minded for anything. Okay. I can't tell you there won't be a time you won't see your loved one for 2 or 3 weeks at a time, maybe even a year. But if you could find creative ways to stay in touch with all the technology that we have, I won't say it'll be easy, but it'll give you a little bit more calmness later on. So like when I did my rotation in Korea, I FaceTime my kids and called them every day. I sent care packages every month, just to give it a little time, and then countdown calendar and stuff like that. So you just have to get creative, but it can be done. Yeah, it can be done.
Well, that's what's up. I just wanted to kind of get an insight on that because I know that can be challenging, and it's different and it can be difficult, just depending on backgrounds, experience, and the connection, Right. So let me ask you this then. What actually made you join like the military?
So I grew up kind of military family. My dad was active duty for a little while. I had an uncle who served 30 years in the military, in the Army. I had another uncle who did 20 in the Air Force. And I just have so many different personnel. But growing up, I was a young teenage guy. I had locks, and just like any other young teenage, I wanted to go to the NFL or, something like that, right? Yeah. So my mom kind of instilled in me, hey, you need to have a plan B or C. That was my mom's whole ordeal raising me. Make sure you have, if something happens, if you get hurt, whatever, you need to have something to fall back on. Keep yourself healthy. Please don't get no crazy tattoos. I wanted tattoos all on my neck like Lil Wayne and hands. But she just kept instilling that in me. So I went to college originally out of high school. 18 years old, out on my own. I wasn't just focused as I should have. So I lost all my academic scholarships. I did get a college loan. I did finish college, and then when I got done around 2009, I don't know, it was one day I was just watching the news, and it was like, oh, we might be going through another depression, people are losing jobs or whatever, and I was like, what am I gonna do with this degree? And my uncle just happened to come in at that time. I was like, you ever thought about the Army? I was like, nah, I'm not cutting my locks to go to the Army. He was like, we don't the ones you can't get fired. And that kind of resonated with me, and I think the next day I just walked in a recruiting office and we just went from there. And 15 years later, I'm still here.
That's what's up, though.
Yeah.
Like I said, you just never know what makes a person want to take that leap.
Right.
So you had family, and then, like you said, you saw on the news. You know what I'm saying? Life has got to be real weird and tough and hard. Depression about to hit, and you was like, "Well, bro, what could I possibly do to offset this?"
That's right.
And so, yeah, and I've heard that the getting into the military, the benefits once you hit a certain amount of years, right? The benefits, the pay, all the things you get when you come out, it's pretty sweet.
Oh man, look, I got about 5 years left, and I hit the 20-year retirement.
Yeah.
One thing when I go into high schools, first question I ask is, name me a career path that you can go into and do 20 years and walk away from that job or career and get paid for the rest of your life. There's no civilian job out there like that, I don't think. Well, at least no one's answered it for me. In the military, you do 20, honorable years, you can set yourself up for the rest of your life. So if you join the Army at 18, at the age of 38, you're retired. Now, retired, you receive your retirement pay and any other thing you may have did within those 20 years. So I know I have mentors that are probably millionaires because of things that they did to set themselves up. Because being in the Army doesn't stop you from investing or doing things on the side or saying your wife up for something that she could be. It's just a lot of things you can do. But I think one thing the Army is, for me, it's just it's steady, it's guaranteed, so it can put you in places for sure.
That's good. And I know being in the military, you get to travel, you get to see the world. Absolutely. I know some people have taken advantage of that. Like I said, my cousin about to go to Japan. Like, who? Crazy. And she's only maybe 20. Right. She ain't even 21 years old yet. You know, and about to go to Japan and get to see the world. So I'm sure that's just another one of the perks.
Right. It's a really good perk. Some people they may not care for it. It really doesn't bother them. It didn't bother me at first until I started having kids. School age kids, because now they might get settled in with friends, and then with me, I move every 3 years. So in 3 years, I gotta take them out of school, move them somewhere else. Now they gotta find new friends. But I'm very fortunate that all of my kids are very friendly and active. They don't mind walking up to a group of kids, introducing themselves, and then 60 seconds later, you'll think they've been knowing each other forever.
Okay.
But it's challenging at times, going from different states or whatever, but it's also cool because we take road trips. So I just came from El Paso, Texas to drive over here, and we stopped in different places. They was able to see different things and things like that. So I think they enjoy that aspect somewhat, but schools, I think, is probably one of the hardest things.
Okay. So now we kind of explained the pros and the cons. So let me hit you with this next question then. So we're going to get into your combat experience. Okay. So based off of your combat experience, how did that shape you as a recruiter?
Whew. I say it, let's see. It puts you in a mindset that you want to share how things are taken for granted in America. Okay. So my combat deployment was in Iraq, 2011, and when you get over there, you just see the poverty. You see the things that young teenage boys are forced to do at such a young age, 14 and 15 years old. You see the lack in knowledge, lack in resources, and things like that. And then when I came back. And, just from when I went home, just to visit some of my friends, I was just like, man, y'all don't even know what I went through over there just for y'all to be, maybe wasted resources or anything like that. I mean, just clean running water. I can just remember one time when I came back from mission and we had shower tents or shower kind of like Connex trailers. And I was in there. It's a funny story, but it make you think. So I'm in there and, you're soaping up in the shower, right? And then water's gone, right? So now you there, you got shampoo in your hair, probably a little bit on your face, you just soaked up, and you like, and everybody kind of like peep out and see if everybody else is out of water. You're like, yeah, we all out of water. So now we put a towel on and we had water points, but the water points was like kind of just out on a pallet, just water bottles, no label or nothing like that. So now you see 3 or 4 guys, we running out with just our towels on and shower shoes, grabbing 3 or 4 bottles of water, go back to the shower just to hold a bottle of water over our head to rinse off. So it's like, just things like that. You're like, man, you take for granted because, now you might, well, at least you had a shower. Yeah, but I ain't had no water sometime, or, even if the water was cold, at least it was coming out.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So now you're like, well, I wish I had hot water at first, but then you're like, well, at least we have water. Then it get cold and you're like, Then you have no water. Then you're like, I wish I just had water. So it's different levels of things you appreciate there once you experience certain things that you come back and you're like, this really ain't that bad. Like, oh, mom or dad, it ain't no hot water coming out. It's fine. You have running water. The water's coming out. Maybe cold water better for you anyway. Make you wake up. But, it's just things like that. Even I remember one friend of mine, he ordered like a plant off Amazon because we didn't see any grass and he just wanted grass, just something living. And I was like, just little things like that you take for granted over here that, a lot of people in poverty don't see.
Yeah. So it sounds like it just really put you in a different mind space and it gave you a different mindset, and it also brought a high level of gratitude, gratefulness.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And, everybody wants to be tough. We got young guys who want to be tough, but I always tell them everybody's tough until it's time to be tough, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're over there and everybody over there don't like you, we over there for a reason, and it gets real when the first time you get contacted upon. Luckily my first time, within my first week, we received contact. Luckily they missed. And that broke a whole nother perspective for me. Like when they say life flashed before your eyes, it was like, man, I was thinking to myself, because I wasn't married. It was just me.
Yeah.
I didn't have any kids. I ain't really had no girl. It was just me. I was thinking, man, I ain't had no kids. I haven't got married. It's just all these things. And it's like, okay, I'm a, you make a like a promise to yourself. When you get back, you're going to do the right thing, Mm. So I think now as a recruiter, I'm able to like connect with some of those younger generation. Like, look, it ain't what you think, just because you might see stuff on TV and hear it on music. Like, everybody's tough until it's time to be tough. Why you even want to do that?
Yeah. I like that. That makes sense.
Life is precious. So,
yeah, man, I ain't never had my life flash on my eyes. Thank God. I ain't even trying to experience that.
Yeah, it's different. It's different. It make you appreciate a lot. I think life is one of the more precious gifts for sure.
Yeah. So what was your most traumatic experience while you were serving, and how did you cope with it?
Besides the first time we got fired upon, probably my very first mission. We got there, and we did night missions. So everything we did was at night. So, we got out, we had to go do something, and we got out and it was pitch black dark, and I had on my night vision goggles. But for whatever reason, they blinked out on me. I lifted them up and I seen an object coming toward me. It looked like a human to me. I was a little nervous, I was scared. I'm just gonna tell the truth. I was scared, right? Like your stomach touching your back, you're sweating. And I seen this object approaching me, and we kind of spread out, and then we practicing Norse discipline, so I can't yell at anybody. Hey, it's just me or whatever this thing is. And I have a flashlight on my rifle, and I was supposed to do it, but I just wanted to make sure I wasn't in any real danger. So I flashed my flashlight, and it was a cow. But I was so nervous. We was about to have steaks. we was about to have steaks, man. But yeah, my very first mission, this cow was, that cow was about to get it for sure.
So when you on these missions, you always see and hear about how whatever you're told to do, you have to do it. Mm-hmm. Is that really how they set up? If you get an order, you got to follow the order.
You got to follow the order. It's not as bad because, most people that you're taking orders from have probably did it before, or they've probably planned it, right? So, you just want to do the things you're told because they're telling everybody what to do. So if you go against it, say for instance, sports, your coach told you to run to the right. Well, I don't want to run to the right because I like running to the left. Mm-hmm. Probably because you like to hold the ball in a certain hand. Yeah. But he telling you to run to the right. Why? Because everybody's blocking to the right. Yeah. If you go to the left just because you like that, you're probably going to have somebody knock your head off. Yeah. So, it's just the same thing. Like, hey, we're going to go over here. And you might like, man, that look a little scary. It's a little dark over there. But it's probably a reason to go over there because they probably have bombs or something set up on this side. Gotcha. So, you just want to take that discipline aspect to just trust what your leadership told you to do, and just go with it. Just go with it.
So when y'all are over in these other countries, whatnot, do y'all have like your own safe place? You got like your own like. So where you actually when people say, "Well, I was stationed in," you said where you said you were stationed at?
My deployment was in Iraq, but I was stationed in El Paso.
Okay, so you went to Iraq. And your deployment was in Iraq. When you're over in Iraq, is there like a U.S. base that you go to, or what? So when you're over there, what is that like?
So I went kind of toward the later toward the war. So we had what we call cops. Cops. So it's like the military built it up over the years because that war has been going on for so long. So they have an area built up to where we're quote unquote safe, but they still know where we are. So they'll shoot bombs and stuff over there as well, but it's kind of like a safe area. But I don't see them. Sometimes they'll try to like jump over the gate and come in there or whatever. Like it's crazy, man. I'm telling you, you wouldn't believe it, but there is kind of like a place for us to sleep.
Gotcha.
But there's always somebody on guard.
Oh yeah.
So just in case somebody might try to infiltrate or something like that. But there is somewhere where we can actually, like I said, shower or sleep or place our vehicles. But we're always on alert. We're always roaming in the city. And there are always people on guard at the gate to make sure nobody comes in.
So so some of your missions like classified, or you can just talk about them? Like how is that? Like how does that work?
Yeah, some stuff we could talk about in moderation. Some things you kind of just got to take to the grave. There are things I haven't even shared with like my wife, but I shared with my dad because he shared similar experience, or a cousin who shared similar experience. But my wife, it's something I wouldn't even share with her or my kids either. Like I went to my daughter's school Friday, and those little kids asking me questions. Have you ever killed anybody? Or, have you ever been shot? And do you have both of your legs? Because I had on pants, and I was, and I'm just like, no, you just don't want to share those type of things. And plus, with my daughter being right there, I don't want her looking at me like, what? You know, so some things, no, you definitely take to the grave with you, or you share with probably whoever you experienced it with. So, yeah.
So, speaking of like, since they asked you, have you ever killed somebody? I'm not gonna ask you that. Don't freeze up. I'm not about to ask you that.
So, I mean, just to ask the question, like, I get asked the question all the time. I say I've never hurt anyone who haven't tried to hurt me first, and I just leave it at that.
Yeah. So what I was gonna ask about that is, do they train y'all? Like, it's got to be hold up. It's got to be hard to have a mindset to be able. I know if somebody's trying to kill you, to kill them and then just kind of be like, that's just part of my job. Like, I just get over. Like, do they do like some kind of training with y'all? Like, you know what I'm
saying? So when I was in basic training, so I signed up for Combat Arms, which is the guys that most people say is front line. So I signed up for that. I wanted to do that, but as far as like the training, kind of, it's kind of like one of them things they just let you know, like, look, either you're gonna do it or they're gonna do you. Right? It's just one of those things you just got to get over. But we have really good doctors when we come back. Okay. Right? We get evaluated a lot. Okay. As far as like, any kind of doctor, hey, I call it sitting on the long couch because that's what usually people see, right? So we have really good doctors when we come back. We have really active chaplains who check on us, and we have really good programs set in place for people who experience traumatic events to help them cope a little bit. I'm not going to say it'll make them better, but we have good programs in place for that, for people who experience traumatic events that, they feel like they can't get over or anything like that. It's something out there for them that we offer for free. Okay. So, yeah.
So speaking of programs, you hear a lot about veterans possibly being homeless. Is that a real big thing, or is it just something that the media talks about, or certain people in certain segments talk about?
I don't know. I do see. I have volunteered before when I seen homeless veterans. Yeah. I can't speak on why there's so many of them because, like I said, you never know what type of traumatic experience they may have had. Because we're just like regular people. Right. So they may have separated from the Army. And, maybe they've developed an addiction or, something like that, just like any other regular person. But what I can say is I know that there's programs there, and I have seen some people just deny, treatment for whatever reason. They might have their own thing going on. I wish there was something to where all the veterans could get help, but I think, just as they're regular people, it may be something that we can't help them with. So I just pray for them, and hopefully they, whatever they're dealing with, they can deal with it peacefully. That's all.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, y'all just always wondered about that, man. It's pretty cool. I've never sat down and interviewed someone that's in the military, that's active. So it's pretty dope experience, man. Getting inside y'all's head, as we say, you know what I'm saying? And seeing
it's a lot up there.
I bet it is.
It's a lot up there.
I bet it is. So we kind of talked about the family aspect earlier. So how do you balance the family life with the demands of your Army service? Like, how you find that balance?
So now that I'm on special duty as a recruiter, the biggest thing I take from right now is I get weekends. I spend the weekends with them. I'm off at a decent time a day, and my job is really flexible to where I can bring them with me if I need to. But if I'm back, it's different parts of the Army. So there's like a training type of environment to where you help train the new soldiers come in, which I've did as well. And then you have kind of like a training environment you have to be ready for war. So at Fort Bliss, I was training like we were getting ready for war.
Yeah.
So with that comes with pretty much we're ready 24/7. At any time somebody call, if something happens on the news or whatever, hey, we need you guys to go. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So with that, it was me training pretty much Monday through Friday. I had soldiers that I had to look after, 18, 19-year-olds, that make sure they stay out of trouble and this, that, and the third. We go to the field 2 or 3 weeks at a time.
Yeah.
To train and make sure we're proficient and everything like that. It's just nonstop. Even on weekends, sometimes, it's nonstop. So I was away from my family a lot. But when I was off, I made sure I was off.
Yeah.
Right. I spent the most time. When I'm in the field, I'm planning something, with my wife. Like, hey, make sure we go to Great Wolf Lodge when I get out. I don't care how much it costs. Just make sure we do it. And things like that. Because I've missed Christmas and Thanksgiving and birthdays, but I make sure to make it up to them.
Yeah.
And when I'm home, I explain to them, what I got to do. I like, Daddy's trying to make sure you're safe. And I think they understand to a certain extent. My wife being prior military, it definitely helps with her as well. Bless you. It definitely helps that she kind of understands it too.
Yeah.
But it's a community as well with wives in the Army as well. So, if some wives, they may be having a hard time because we're in the field 2 weeks and they may not have heard from their husband, then they can talk to someone else's wife who may have been dealing with it for longer. And, they get together, they get the kids together and stuff like that. So that's a whole nother community that helps with it as well. So it's tough at times, but, I just try to, at such a young age, my kids, that I just try to tell them, hey, it's definitely setting you guys up for later.
Yeah.
It's not the best thing, but we're good, and our dad just got to do it for a little while longer type deal. So
yeah.
I think they understand. And my wife, like I said, my wife is definitely a big help, and she handles it. Yeah, I make sure I give her time too, and we go about it like that.
Well, that's what's up.
Yeah.
So, like you said, though, it's really big to have a community and to have a spouse that understands.
Right.
Now, it's a whole lot easier for your spouse to understand because she's been there. And so for those spouses that don't understand, that's when the community is really, really important. You hear all kind of stories about man come back home from being away. He got all kind of babies running around.
So just, that's as a recruiter, I think like, if I don't get kids fresh out of high school, usually I'm getting the young adults, so 22, 25.
Yeah.
They may or may not be married, probably engaged, maybe a kid. And I always ask, how does your spouse feel about it? Oh, she don't know I'm here. What? Right? Or he don't know I'm here. Go back home and get him. Because I want to tell you both face to face, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Okay.
I don't want to hide it. I don't want them calling me later, whatever. Like I don't sugarcoat it. I tell them the truth. Like it's gonna be times like Your husband gonna be in the field for 2 weeks. You ain't gonna hear from him. You can't call him. You can't check on him. None of that stuff. He doing what he got to do. You're gonna have to find something for you to do, right? And they look at me like, what? Just let you know. I'm just letting you know. I don't want to say, oh yeah, you could talk to him every night, and then a year later they hit me up on Facebook, calling me everything but a child of God because they say I lied to them. So I tell them straight up. I let them ask me whatever question they want to ask me based on TikTok or Facebook or whatever, and I just tell them the honest truth because it is gonna be times you ain't gonna be able to talk to him.
Yeah.
Like, it's not his fault. He's just in the middle of the desert training. I mean, it was time I couldn't talk to my kids. I talked to him, hey, I ain't gonna hear from y'all for a couple of days. Y'all be good. I love y'all, and I'll talk y'all when I'm done. That's just how I gotta be.
Yeah.
And then I just been in the military so long, now I plan things. So I try to tell my experience. So if I know I'm gonna be gone for 2 weeks, I plan for flowers to be sent home. I plan for Amazon packages to be sent to the kids because it'll come at a time when they're like, "Hey, I really miss Daddy," and then they hear some doorbell, and I send a little message or something like that. So it just comes with experience. So I share that with them too, and I think it wins them over a little bit. So, yeah.
I'm just glad you got the transparency thing going.
Oh yeah, I don't hide it. I don't hide it. I tell them the truth. I tell them the truth, and I mean. I try to tell them not to get married before they leave if they ain't already married.
It makes sense.
I mean, because it's a different life.
Yeah.
Right? Anybody can be like, oh, I can do it. Yeah, you can do it until what if he got to go like I did a rotation in Korea. It wasn't planned. I had to go. But imagine if a new kid, his high school sweetheart, they 18 years old, he joined the Army. Mm-hmm. He get to his first unit and let's say he in El Paso, Texas, right? Now you have moved your wife from Florence, Alabama to El Paso, Texas. She don't know anybody. Mm-hmm. And you get to your first unit and say, hey, we're going to Korea in 30 days, right? What you going to do? Now you got to leave your newly wedded wife back in El Paso or you send her back to Florence. Either way, you probably really ain't going to trust her because you don't want to send her back home, right? You don't want to send her back home because, ex-boyfriend or somebody who liked her in high school and you going for a year, you don't want to leave in El Paso because she don't know nobody. She just going to do whatever or try to fly back home. So I always tell them, if you're not married, wait a year or wait at least 3 years. That's like, the minimum contract. Wait at least 3 years. See how you guys handle the long distance relationship.
Gotcha. I've heard that being married or getting married while you're in the military or about to go into your spouse get more benefits or something like that. Like it's some kind of.
Oh yeah, spouse, man. It's so like your spouse can go to college. Your spouse get kind of first dibs on jobs as well, on posts and different things. If they're like in the medical field, just imagine if your wife is a nurse and she goes to work on post. Now she get like pretty much government benefits a little bit because now she's a contractor for the Army and she's a nurse or whatever. And even your kids are good too. Okay. For a lot of things you get with that. Spouses, they can benefit from it if they want the spouse to join the Army though. Sometimes they be like, you can do that living here or whatever, but it's a lot of things you might not be able to accomplish, But spouse get first dibs on like jobs and things like that. And then the community that you're in, you might meet somebody who can put you in with something else.
Gotcha. All right, that makes sense. Like I said, I was just wondering about that, man, because I've heard different stories about spouses being able to get benefits. It's one of the reasons why they get married right before they know they're going into it, not knowing on the back end that you may come home and you may not even be married no more. Just depending on
you got to make
different relationships.
That's why I say wait 3 years. You got to give them a trial period. You know what I mean? You got to make sure because a lot of the young ladies, back from when I was dealing with soldiers in El Paso, man, a lot of those young ladies are smart and they know what you can do for them. Right? Mm-hmm. They know, you got this, you got that, you can do this. And then you get 19-year-old kids that go out there and they meet 22-year-old young ladies who might have 1 or 2 kids. What that young lady knows is as soon as she married you, her kids got health and dental benefits. Mm-hmm. She got health and dental benefits, life insurance, all these things for free now because she's married to you. She might not even like you. She just didn't, And you have to make sure you tell them that, like, hey, when you go outside of post, don't wear your dog tags because you automatically a target. right? Don't wear your army boots. You're a target. You can't make it. You got to make yourself kind of blend in a little bit, and don't. The first girl that tell you you're pretty, you're not in love. She just told you, you look all right, bro. Just keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, the divorce rate is high when you first come in if you don't know what you're doing. Cause and then you might like her a lot, and then now you got a kid by 18 years of child support, bro. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's those young guys. I try to brief them in the office, like, hey, I know you got a girlfriend in high school. I got it. Just wait a little while and see if she can accept the lifestyle. Because, I mean, what if you go overseas for your first duty station and she don't want to go? Right? What you going to do? You going to leave her? Or you going to marry her, try to make her go? You going to marry her and then she don't want to go? Now you have a whole nother thing to think about your first time in the military. Now you showing up depressed, unmotivated because you think about what she doing. Just give yourself a little time.
Yeah. Can somebody that's joined the military can leave whenever they want to?
Nah. Where you gonna go? Where you want to go?
Home.
Nah. I mean, you can go home, but on the weekends, maybe if you don't.
No, I'm talking about they want to leave the military.
Nah,
like,
that's
look, bro, I'm
you
done
belong
with
to the government
until that contract is up.
Until the contract is up. So if you do a minimum of 3 years, just do your 3 years. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
I mean, just think about like if I'm paying you, you have benefits. You somewhere experiencing something new. Why you want to leave?
Because they miss back home.
Yeah, it ain't nothing back home.
He like, nah, bro.
I tell him every time. So the thing is you'll go. Everybody miss home first, right? Get a little homesick, but you'll get over it.
Yeah. Because
one thing's for sure, you'll leave, and let's say you come back everybody go home for Christmas in the military. Most people go home for Christmas during the military. After your first probably 4 days back home, you'll be ready to leave. Because for one, everybody doing the same thing, right? Out of you and your homeboys or whoever you was running with, you're probably the only one that got a career, which means you're the only one that kind of got money.
Yeah.
So which means what? You fronting everything.
Yeah. They depend on you. Yeah.
And then when you come back to the girls that you probably like before, they probably don't look the same. Or, they're just trying to get you for money too. It's boring now because now you met a whole new set of guys that's on the same thing.
Yeah.
Right? When y'all go out together, everybody got their own money. Everybody got their own car. Right? You don't have to front everything. And then you come back home, you just kind of sit around. You see your parents and your loved ones, and then you kind of like, it's kind of slow. What we doing next? Because you used to doing things or experiencing different things. You grew up here. You already know what it is to do. Once you go to one little house party or whatever, you'll be finished. You'll be ready to go back.
Gotcha. That kind of reminds me when I went off to college.
Yeah, same thing.
Went off to college playing football, so I'm meeting all the football guys, meeting all the different little athletic teams and stuff like that. And it's like, man, it be lit, having a good time. And it's like, bro, it's time to go home. Like, yeah, you excited. And you get, like you said, you get home for a few days. Like, bro, I'm ready to go back. Like,
you ready to go back. You're thinking, you're like, man, you're like, what is it to do around here? Oh man, it's the same thing, Like even when I first joined, I wanted to go back home all the time. I just got me a car, put some rims on, flashy.
Yeah.
3 days after, I'm like, I told my mom, I said, Mom, I'm finna go back. She was like, I thought you was off for, yeah, but I'm going back. I can't do, I was just bored.
Yeah.
I was bored and I was like, man, I'm spending too much money here. Really. When you think about it, you're like, I'm going over here and going over there, but I'm the one that's home. Y'all should be coming to see me.
Yeah.
But I left. I drove back to Texas.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense. Like I said, man, like it's good to go home. Don't get me wrong. It's always good to go home. But like you said, I don't need to stay here too long because either it's going to be trouble.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's going to eventually catch up to me, or, I'm just going to be, like you said, blowing money.
It's boring, man. It's boring.
So,
especially if you leave, I don't know where you went to college at, but say you went to college and let's say you went to Tallahassee, Florida, you went to FAM or something like that. And you living down there for a while and then you come back up here and you're like,
it's different.
Yeah.
It's different.
You like the different. I think when people experience different, then it'll get them out of the comfort zone, but it'll also make them mature.
Yeah.
So if you go somewhere, the Army send you to, let's say you go to Germany or something like that. First duty station, 18, you in Germany. You having a good time. Clubs don't close over there till the next day. Literally. You'll walk in that club and you'll walk out and it's bright out there. You're like, I was really in there that long? And then you come back to Florence and you're like, what we gonna do? You experiencing different food, different people.
Yeah.
And it's just a lot, and you're matured a lot, and you realize when you get back here, it really wasn't nothing for you. It was probably the best thing for you to leave and experience something.
That's good. So as far as like going out of the country, what was something that stood out to you that you wasn't expecting when you went to a certain location?
So I went to Korea a couple years ago, and I would say it's more Americanized. Certain areas, right? Like it's more Americanized than you would think. Certain things, yeah, you're not gonna be able to read, but my thing is like if I can see a picture, then I can deal with it. But you'll be surprised, like how a lot of people over there, when they see Americans, it's like to them you're a celebrity sometimes. Right? So if you walk around there with Jordans on, they always used to like some of the Koreans that see us with Jordans on, they automatically think we really good at basketball or something like that. Right? Oh man, look, you got the Jordans on, or whatever. And then you got people you might be hanging with that's like really, really tall.
Yeah.
So they're like, hey, you in the NBA or different things. And it's like, man, it's really cool. And then the food is probably the biggest thing, right?
Okay.
Korea, besides my mom and my grandma, Korea probably the best fried chicken I ever had.
For real?
Yes. I was talking to a guy at a restaurant and I was like, why what got you guys in the for I don't know, I'm just talking, right? He was like, he told me the history that back in the Korean War, African Americans actually taught them how to fry chicken. So I was like, it makes sense. It makes sense.
It's humping over here.
Yeah. And then, just the things that they eat different things.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
That's why I was like, I need to see a picture. So when I went to a restaurant, either I looked at a picture,
eating lassie,
or man, look, they eat it.
I know
it's
they
there.
do.
And the thing is, it's on display. So like even like with fish, they got these different type of fish, whole fish, eyes and everything. You walk in, you point to it, they cut it and clean it and cook it right there for you. But yeah, you mess around and be eating lassie or ratatouille or whatever, man. They don't care. Like, look, and sometimes you wouldn't even know.
Yeah.
But you ate it, you're like, this tastes kind of good. And then they might tell you later what you ate, and you're like, dang, it's already in there now, you know what I mean? Just give me some rice and hot sauce, I guess, just grow with it. But the food is cool. You won't even get the experience. You just see that type of stuff on TV, but at least you might see somebody eat squid or octopus, and you're like, bro, you really about to eat that? And you just look at them, eating it, and you're like, I ain't gonna try that, man. I ain't built that much courage yet, but I think the food and the culture of overseas is dope.
All right, so let me ask you this then. What is a common misconception about joining the Army?
That's a loaded question.
Well, unload, bro.
All right. First things first, everybody doesn't go to war.
Oh.
Everybody doesn't go to war. And what I mean by that is it depends on your unit. So the unit is the people where you work at pretty much. Right. So we have different military installations all across the US and overseas, right? So you have to be in a specific unit to deploy.
Okay.
Everybody don't go. So for instance, my wife, she served 12 probably about 12, 13 years. She's never went to war ever, right? I know guys that been in the Army just as long as me, he's never been to war either. Okay. It just depends on where you work at, who you work for, right? So it's like the unit at Fort Hood, they may go, but then you may be stationed at Fort Lewis, Washington State, and they're not going. So you just happen to have to be with the right people to go.
Gotcha.
So everybody doesn't go to war. So that's one, like probably the first thing I get from parents. I don't want my son or daughter to go to war. Well, first off, what national war are we in right now? And it's always crickets because we're not in actual war at this moment, right? The second misconception is this. They always say they don't want the kid to die for whatever reason. I never really get it, but it's like, well, every life is precious. You never could tell when it's their time. Yeah. So just because you put on a military uniform, doesn't mean you're gonna die or get shot or anything like that. What else? Money. They say we don't make a lot of money. So you don't make a lot of money first when you first start out. But I don't know a profession where you do get paid a lot of money with no college degree. Okay. Right? So I always tell them, hey, you can Google the pay scale. It's on the internet. It's not a secret. But as you progress and you mature and you get mentors that tell you other things that you can do outside of just your Army paycheck, then you'll make more money.
Yeah.
Let's see another thing. Excuse me. Weekends. We just regular people. So I don't walk around with my uniform on 24/7 and just whatever they think. They was like, well, can you take your uniform off? Well, yeah. When I'm off, I'm off, And I usually try to wear civilian attire on Fridays and wear Jordans or something like that, just to show them like, hey, I'm a regular person too.
Yeah.
Just that my profession is military, and I tell them like it's the same thing as that. If you go to McDonald's, you got to wear the McDonald's collar shirt. Do you wear that collar shirt all the time, or when you off, right? Anything like that. So we don't wear the uniform 24/7 unless we're deployed or something like that, of course. But it's still a time you can take it off. With the military, there are different branches. A lot of people think we're kind of like all in one. So you have the Marines. The biggest difference in the Marines is they have the best dress uniform. I just go on record and say it. They look real nice.
Yeah.
They look real nice. Most people think they're the toughest. That's debatable. And then you have the Navy. The Navy is mostly water. You're going to be on a ship, most of the time. And they probably have they're better than the Air Force, the dress uniform, but they have the whites. Those are pretty dope. And then you have the Air Force. The Air Force, everyone thinks that's the easiest. Again, debatable, depending on what you consider is easy. But there are more air and jets and things like that. Then you have us, the Army. We're more ground, so we're the biggest military branch.
Okay.
So we're probably what you see the most of, good or bad on the news most times. But yeah, it's four of us. They're different. So a lot of people are like, well, I know you guys do swim tests and basic training. No, we don't do swim tests and basic training.
I've heard that too.
Because I don't swim, man. I don't swim. If I can't stand up in that water, I'm not getting in the water. We don't teach you how to swim. None of that in the Army.
Okay.
Right? In the Army. Navy and Marines, yes, they swim. I don't swim. So for me, that's what made me pick Army.
Okay.
Because when I went to looking Navy, I'm a little bit claustrophobic depending on what it is.
Gotcha.
So I know I don't want to be on a boat for 9 months out of a year. Ooh. Right? And then Marines, again, I don't swim. They got nice dress uniforms, but it just seemed like though some of the people that I met, they're not people person. I'm a people person. They just got that demeanor kind of like, I don't know. I just didn't like it, right? It just seemed really too macho for me. Air Force, my cousin was in the Air Force. I was probably this close to going in the Air Force. What taught me out of that was the promotion rate. The Army promotes the faster. And for me, I like to make money. So if I'm getting promoted faster, I'm making more money. So that's what made me go Army from any other branch.
Okay. My uncle I actually got two uncles. One of my uncles, he was in the Navy. And I remember talking to him. I was like, we would go to the pools and stuff. Like, he would never get in the water. I was like, Unc, you don't swim? He was like, no, I can't swim.
He was in the Navy?
I sworn you told me he was in the Navy. He was in the Navy for like 10 plus, retired from the Navy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he couldn't swim. I said, so, Unc, how in the world did you get past? He said, no lie, nephew. He was like, they had two lines. They said one line is you can swim, one line you can't. He's I got in the line you can swim. And they let me go on by.
Look, hey.
I was like, what?
Look, the game meant to be played. You know what I mean? You know what?
He literally said, I literally just got in the line that said you can swim.
Look, the game meant to be played. You know what I'm saying? You rolled them. Hey, you know what? Your uncle might be the smartest man. Man, you know what? Kudos to him.
And he was Navy 10, 15 plus years. And I asked him that. I was like, he had me rolling.
Because I don't think they swim again after that.
No.
I think it's just basic training. Right? I think they make them swim in basic training just in case, because they always on the boat. If they fall over, they need to be able to swim. But, man, you know what? I can dig it. But I ain't know nobody to even tell me a secret like that to even try it anyway. I wasn't doing no water. And
I don't know what was going through his head for him to even, first off, why you going to the Navy knowing you can't swim? Well, his brother had done it. And
somebody told him something he liked.
Because he was like, yeah, man, I just got in the line that said you can swim.
And that was it.
That's
crazy work, man. Look, hey.
I'm gonna ask you something else. What is what's it called? The Briggs. It's like a jail or something that's on one.
Oh, the barracks.
The barracks.
Jail. It's not jail, man. Come on, man.
Okay,
it's not jail.
What is it?
It's dorms. It look just like college dorms.
It's called the what?
It's called the barracks. We just call them the barracks. Just like we call the cafeteria, we call it the chow hall. You know, it's just different things we call it just to make it military-like. But it ain't jail, man. Come on.
What's it called with a military jail then? Ain't no military jail on base or something like that.
Yeah, it's jail. We got military police.
What y'all call when you put
jail?
Oh, okay. Jail. So I just had it mixed up. I could have
maybe another branch probably called it something else.
Okay, it must be probably Navy then. I think it's the Navy that calls it something.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Okay,
but now for us, so we have military police in the Army. Okay. They drive around in police cars, and you know they do it. And they got cells. They got cells that they go to. We call it jail, man. You know, you'll get a phone call from some little knucklehead soldier, whatever, doing something like, hey, Sarge, I got locked up for, you know, this, that, and the third. Oh man, it's Friday night, bro. I see you Monday. Sorry. Think about it. You know what I mean? But barracks, our barracks, they're dorms. Okay. Like, those are single soldier living quarters. So they look just like, well, they don't look just like, but the concept is just like college dorms.
Okay. I just wonder.
Nah.
All right. So, what's the most rewarding part of helping others start their Army journey?
It's great. I like to see when they go and they come back. You can see the difference in their face. Like the way that they carry themselves is different because what they have endured, you know, none of their peers have endured.
Yeah.
I think probably. I got one young lady I'm waiting to come back right now. She ghosted me at first, fresh out of high school. She just, you know, they start responding after a while, and I probably hit them up once or twice, and then if they don't respond, just leave them alone because I don't want them to screenshot me and nothing like that. You know how they get wild, that type of stuff. Mm-hmm. But she just got done, and you know, she wrote me and was like, "Thank you." You know, probably one of the best decisions she ever made. And, you know, that alone just makes me feel like, all right, I did good by somebody.
Yeah.
And, you know, now I can tell her all of the secrets that we have that we won't share with anybody else about how you can advance, you know, how you can make the Army work for you, how you can do these other things that you probably really wanted to do, but you just probably didn't have the money or the time or the resources, right? So now, you know, I'm excited for her. And this other guy, he was married, has a kid, probably he's doing really well. His son he needed, you know, special doctors. Mm-hmm. And the Army was able to station him in a place based off his son to where his son can get the best care he can get, no money out of pocket. Because, you know, doctors is expensive, especially if your kids have something, you know, that they're born with that makes them a little more special. You know, that they need a little more care. In the Army, you pay for that, you know, and I think that, you know, seeing him and their family endure that type of help would make me feel good as well. And then even with some families, you know, I have moms that, man, they'll come in their recruiting office crying when it's time for their son or daughter to leave. Yeah. But, you know, once they get done, I think that they're happy that their kid actually left an area that, you know, they probably would have just followed footsteps of the wrong crowd, you know, ended up elsewhere. So it's good for me to see those kids or, you know, young adults go, progress, come back and, you know, see them excel.
That's what's up. So to get into the Army, mm-hmm. you have to have at least a GED or a high school diploma, correct?
To get into the Army, yes.
Okay.
Yes. You have to have one or the other. I tell kids all the time, high school diploma probably the easiest thing for you to do. Just show up. Yeah. Right? All you gotta do is show up to school. GED, I had some kids come to me, you know, whatever happened, they didn't finish high school and they get the GED. But, you know, I just tell them, you know, it's the first step to any probably real career anyway.
Yeah, true.
Right? I don't think you can get any type of probably meaningful path to success without one or the other. Well, without a high probability, you know, you could create something or whatever. You could be really, really smart and do, you know, it's things you can do like stocks. But as far as like, trying to do something, you probably need one or the other regardless, I would assume. So I always convince kids to at least just get one or the other. If you're not in high school where you kind of at least get your GED, then I can help you because you can, you know, build a good career here.
So where are you? Where you work at? Where's your office at right now?
We in the Florence Mall. I know the Florence Mall don't get much traffic. It's just the mall walkers most times.
Yeah.
Some kids might come in there and go to a shoe store here and there, but we in the mall. You know, we looking for y'all. I walk around there most times, you know, just get some steps in, but we're located in Florence Mall.
So where do you do your recruiting at?
Everywhere.
Everywhere
I go, I try to steer a conversation.
Okay.
I try to leave a card, or anything, you know, just, and then sometimes I just go just to have random conversations with people, and then they may ask me about the Army later, but I try not to give that pressure of, I just want to put you in the Army.
Yeah.
But of course, in the high schools, I'm kind of putting a little bit more pressure on them because I'm pretty sure everybody in there don't want to go to college.
Right.
So,
right.
You know, but yeah, everywhere I go, I try to leave a good impact about the Army for sure.
So what's the age group you can join the Army? The earliest?
17. 17 is the earliest. If I can get you in basic training by your 42nd birthday, you good.
For real?
Yeah.
So I'm about to be 40. So if I wanted to go to the middle, I can jump on board.
Come on.
I thought it was like in your 30s. So they taking old heads.
It's some stuff I can do to get you in there if you're serious. When I went to basic training.
Oh no, I'm just asking.
Hey, I went to basic training in 2010.
Them days over.
And look, I can't make this up. 2010. It was a guy there. He was 42. Yeah. Actually, let me see. Somebody in little southern Alabama, I think she just enlisted a guy. He got to be at least 38, 39.
Yeah.
It made the news and everything. He like 38, 39. He doing infantry. That's some hardcore stuff. I wouldn't expect him to do that.
Yeah.
But you know, that's what infantry. And them pretty much frontline guys. Them the guys that kick the doors in and do all the cool
wanted to do
stuff.
that.
Yeah. And he like 38, 39, bro. I'm telling you. And I thought he would have did some like computer intel or, you know, something to sit behind the desk and kick it, you know, preserve the needs for your kids. But nah.
He want all the smoke.
Yeah, he want the smoke, man.
So is it true that the more degrees you have, like bachelor's, you know, master's, it puts you into the military more pay, or it gives you a higher ranking or something like that?
So you could come in the military as an officer if you have a bachelor's degree.
Okay.
They do get paid a little more. They have more responsibility as far as leadership and everything like that. But even if you don't have that degree right away, you can still get that degree while you're enlisted like I am. So I'm working on my second degree right now. I don't really want to do the officer route, not really my path. But if you have a degree, yeah, you could come in as a different leader.
Okay.
The pay is different, and you know, it's cool. But I would say I always ask kids what they want, because I get kids from UNA with a bachelor's degree, and I ask them, you know, do you want to go in as an officer? You know, when you go to training, yeah, you'll get paid more money up front, but you know, most times those kids come in there, they got college loans.
Mm-hmm.
So, or do you want to go in as enlisted, possibly try to get a cash bonus and pay off your college loans? So, you know, it just depends on what path they want to do.
So what's the difference between an officer and
enlisted?
Enlisted.
So the officer, though, pretty much they have a degree already. They have a bachelor's degree in whatever. It don't even matter what it is. Could be, I don't know, just like this one girl, she had an art degree.
Yeah.
She didn't really know what to do with it. I think she worked at a museum or something, and she just wanted to do something different. She looked at the officer program. She didn't really care for it right away. And she ended up enlisting, which is pretty much like the soldier aspect of doing the work. The officers, they more plan the work. Okay. The soldiers actually do the work. Okay. Yeah, so she actually wanted to get her hands dirty a little bit and do work.
Okay. All right. Well, man, you done pretty much knocked this thing out, bro. we about to get ready to close this thing on out. Is there anything else as far as what you want to tell them, as far as where they can reach you, a website, social media, location? I know we already told them using the Florence Mall. Right. But anything else you want to tell them about, you know, how they can reach you and things like that before we close out?
Florence Mall, that's where we are. My social media is SFC_Ward, WARD. And that's on Facebook or Instagram. My phone number is listed on there as well. But if you want to reach me directly to Florence Mall or social media, I pretty much respond to either one.
What time you at Florence Mall?
Man,
What time you supposed to be there?
the mall opens at 10. And they
you got it made.
close around. I don't know what time they close, but I'm usually out there by 6, unless I'm working with someone.
Okay.
But the biggest thing is just let me know you coming, because I don't like to just sit in there and wait for people. I try to go out and go to the gym or try restaurants or something. Just get out and about.
Gotcha.
Just so I can be seen and probably walk up on this person who probably ready to quit their job.
Gotcha. So when you're out and about, are you fully in your
I'm
army?
in uniform.
Okay,
sweet. I'm in uniform most times, unless I'm at the gym.
Okay.
And then I don't think nobody really recognize me when I'm there, because I usually wear like a hoodie and stuff. But most times I am in uniform. Yeah, and you just walk up. I mean, they say I look unapproachable, some of the kids at the high schools, but just approach me. I mean, I'm a nice guy.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna like blink out on you like that. So yeah, Florence Mall, my social media. My phone number is 256-443-8858. If you're not comfortable calling, you could text. But yeah, pretty much it.
Okay. Well, hey, we just had another dope episode, man. I want to thank Sergeant First Class Anthony Ward for jumping on with us tonight. You guys be sure to like, comment, share, reach out to us. We thank you guys, man. This has been another episode of the Elevated Chat Room. Elevate your mind, elevate your life. We out.